Fire, 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 fire. All right.
A spendthrift, whales, consumers.
What is that image right there?
Whales,
spends weekends binge watching TV box sets. Oh, the consumer. Okay, Mariathas. Have fun. Changes phone every year, addicted to social media, goes shopping when bored, only talks about entertainment or politics.
They go
That's
by
a good
many
one.
names, but I like to call them wallet gamers. You know, the ones that have been assisting the corporations in their mission to destroy the gaming industry and squeeze it dry. Now, some may say to just ignore these.
Just ignore the whales. I don't have time to actually play the game. Oh my god, I had one of these people that played BDO with me, and basically his excuse for like pay to winning is because he didn't have time to play the game, so he would just AFK everything and then swipe when he gets home. And I'm like, dude, you're swiping the money you earned from working into fucking putting it into here, like into the game. It's crazy. I have time. Pay for $50 to get Kafka? Yep. Pretty much.
And that destroying the industry is a bit hyperbolic.
Think for the ball.
Is it, Brian? Look around you. Can't you see, Brian?
Oh my god, that was fucking startling.
Games are being solely designed for these types of gamers. If we can even call them gamers at this point. That's right, boys and girls.
Consumers!
Right off the bat in this video, because I'm sick and tired of these little degenerate weasels stroking off the corporations, buying up all the microtransactions.
Look at that pog. That absolute pog. That he got Messi. He pulled Messi out of the box. Look at that dopamine rush.
Because
I've got the money to spend.
Oblivious to the irreparable
just
damage
poor!
they're actively causing in the industry. So buckle your seatbelts and grab a nice cold bevy, because we're taking the bullet train all the way to Whale City.
Next stop, Whale City, home of the degenerate consumer.
Roller coaster of hell. I have no idea about iShowSpeed, really.
How much have you spent on Apex?
500, 2,000.
Okay, in my defense, I have spent $2,500 on League of Legends over 10 years. But that's over 10 years of League. So that's $258 a month? I mean, a year, excuse me. I don't know why I said month. Yeah, that's like nothing. I've spent more on my WoW subscription.
250, 800, 3K on Xbox, 1.5K on PC, $3,000.
$3,000? Well, I spent so much League on you only need one Ari skin? Wrong! I need all of the Ari skins.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
This small sample size is taken from just 2 different Reddit posts where the Apex wallet gamers have come to
I have every single Ari skin, to be fair. I only spent $25 on games in my entire life. Cap. I spent close to 3K on League. Yeah, from what dates though, to be fair? Mainly on DBD. That's fair.
congregate. And I totaled up the amounts from just
again,
these
it's
10
not pay to win though.
Replies, which lands us at nearly $21,000 from just those 10 customers.
$2,100.
If the game were sold at $60 a piece instead, and was not a free-to-play game with microtransactions, the game would need to be purchased by 333 different customers to reach that same dollar amount.
That's a lot easier. What do you mean my dad really buys me stuff for in-game? So you only play free-to-play games and only let your dad buy you stuff at 17 years old? You don't have to call yourself out like that. I'm just saying. Is the vid quiet for anyone else? I can make it a little bit louder.
Thing is, these 10 individuals aren't done spending because the game gets constant influxes of cash shop items weekly. It's crazy to think that when we look at just a small sector of the internet and see this kind of whaling people openly admit to, it's easy to see why Apex Legends has made over
$2 billion in 3 years! Holy crap. Holy.
$2 billion in its first 3 years. Some publishers like Activision try to have their cake and eat it too, charging the full $70 for Call of Duty and implementing the same free-to-play systems found in games like Apex or Fortnite. And
That's
unfortunately,
disgusting.
it's worked out great for them financially, with Modern Warfare 2
Woo! Activision!
also making $2 billion, but not in its first 3 years like Apex, in its first 3 months. Now the figures above are rookie numbers compared to the gacha gamers or free-to-play MMO players, easily getting into the 5-figure range per person.
Oh wait, didn't that Phillian game show have what's it called? She asked people what their amount was that they spend on Genshin and Honkai, and they were like, "Yeah, I spent like $30,000," and I'm like, "You're joking." And they're like, "No, I'm being completely serious." And they're actually not lying, because there's multiple people who are like, "Yeah, this guy spent actually like $10,000 and shit." Rich spent like, I think he spent like $20,000. I could be wrong. Let's see.
I think 10K. I'm not sure though.
I'm not sure though.
Dude, I think it might be 10K.
Oh my god, dude. That is insane. Absolutely insane. $10,000. Was it worth it?
10,000. No.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, look, it's like
I'm gonna stop you right there, bro, before you embarrass yourself even further. But mobile gamers have got everyone else cleared by a mile.
I've also played mobile gaming a lot. Not only do I play a lot of computer
Oh, this is the
gaming, I play a
Diablo
lot of
Immortal
mobile gaming.
guy.
Okay.
Been a part of a game called Clash of Clans. Have over 6 figures invested into it.
6 figures! 100,000 American dollars? Jesus Christ, dude. What is wrong with these people? Clash of Clans, man.
What the fuck? How do you spend 100 grand on a fucking video game?
Look at the chat, by the way. Look at the chat. Invested. Kill me. $100,000. Totally unbiased perspective. He could have an MK4 Supreme instead. There are people that spend that on VTubers. Yeah, that's true. That is actually insane to think about.
It's almost impossible to comprehend that these people are even real, but they are. And like I said
They
in the
are.
intro, most online games are being solely made for them now. And this is why those who say just ignore the cash shop or just ignore the whales are part of the problem. For one thing, you already know that that dude isn't ignoring the cash shop, and he's probably a whale himself. But also because the cash shops are so successful, this means
So anecdotally, I did know a person who did that on BDO, and they basically spent, I think they gave me a guesstimate, and they said they spent $3,000 alone or something. Like between like $3,000 to $5,000 in like a year. And I was like, my man. And he was only a little bit better in gear than like me, which was insane. Yeah, $3,000 to $5,000. Not joking. Anecdotal, of course. There are other people out there who spend more than that on BDO and other games. It's crazy.
all the company's resources are focused on battle passes and cash
This
shop
isn't
items.
even good
Bugs,
though!
glitches, imbalances, lack of content. Who cares? We just gotta keep the whales spending. So live service support starts to mean nothing when the support just means infinite cash shop updates, with a small side of content.
Cat Lovers Bundle. Fire and Frost Bundle. Dude, he looks like freaking Iron Man. Is this Halo? Oh my god, it is Halo. I'm stupid.
Now, you've probably heard of the term pay to win, and many would describe it as the ability to become more powerful in a game by spending real-world money. But what exactly does it mean? So many people have different definitions by which they consider a game pay to win, and so many people have such different definitions of what winning is. Imagine a game with the ability to spend 20 bucks for an overpowered weapon, only obtainable in a cash shop, and not earnable in the game through grinding.
I
think
hate
most
that.
would agree that this is a prime example of pay to win. But some might change their stance if that weapon was then added to the game through 10 hours of grinding to obtain, but also left in the option to directly purchase it for 20 bucks. Is it pay to win, or pay to take a shortcut? To me, there isn't much of a difference.
There's
Being able
not.
to obtain power quicker than others simply by swiping your credit card definitely falls under the pay to win umbrella. And we see a more complex problem in a lot of free-to-play MMO games with PvP, where paying for power level and upgrades is pretty common, and most
Video. Haha, smile.
high-end PvP matches are determined by which whale spent the most amount of money. So wallet gamers are plentiful inside these types of games. MMOs, gacha games,
Lost
mobile
Ark
games,
isn't like
and paying
that.
for
Only for
shortcuts to
PvE,
power,
but still.
whether that be through the purchase of raw materials, pay for rerolled items, or even pay for loot directly.
Who the fuck plays PvP in MMOs? Me! Tomix, me! I do.
In some cases, and pay to win certainly has a spectrum from somewhat of a gray area to flat out egregious. For example, skins in DMZ for Call of Duty that provide players with a UAV on spawn is definitely pay to win, but not nearly as bad as what Destiny 2 has become. Now, I acknowledge that Destiny 2 is not the most egregious example of pay to win.
MMO PvPers,
I
eye roll, piss yourself. Fuck y'all, right, Spicy?
Isn't a free-to-play game, which makes its pay to win problems that much worse.
Actually, it is free to play.
Get the fuck out of here, Brian. Everyone knows this shit ain't free to play.
Brian!
Pay to win in Destiny 2 isn't super obvious at a glance, and it takes a bit more digging to recognize it, but both the PvP and PvE have had serious pay to win problems over the last few years, and Bungie are pretty good at hiding its pay to win tactics through its many layers of crafting materials and upgrade paths.
A lot of people will now mention the slippery slope argument. Yes, Dado, we start with shaders, emblems, emotes, but who is to say that they won't introduce materials, armor, or weapons in the future?
Yep,
If we see
the
legendary
slippery
guns for sale, if we see
slope.
legendary marks for sale, I'm gonna be mad. If we see something like 100 motes of light for $5, I'm gonna be mad. I don't want to see power sold, I don't want to see shortcuts to power sold, nothing. And as long as
Ignorant child. Little do you know. I always feel beaten that people dominate me by throwing money. Yep, that's why it sucks. Yeah, Destiny 2 is really bad about this
Bungie
kind
does
of
not
thing.
cross the line of cosmetic items, I think we'll be fine. If Bungie does cross that line, you have my rage.
And you add these problems on top of selling exotic weapons through $100 pre-order bonuses, and the ability to buy season pass levels, pay to win is very much alive and
I remember loving Classic WoW in TBC. Wait, what? In TBC, they released the store amount with Digital Deluxe Edition, and we said, haha, yeah, slippery slope. Next thing you know, the WoW token will be classic, and here we are. Yep. I was one of those people, and they also removed, they removed the ability to spit on people on the mount that was technically pay to win, and then they added the token, and everything got worse, and nothing got better. Goodbye, Moose. Bye-bye. Also, goodbye, and Broccoli. Thank you. You get that exotic in the free pass too, by the way? Yeah, but what about all the other stuff that you don't get for free?
well inside of Destiny 2. But what about cosmetics? Cosmetics aren't pay to win, right?
It's just cosmetic.
One of the most common phrases wallet gamers love to use in justifying their whaling behavior. But in almost all video games, cosmetics dominate progression systems, working towards unlocking camos, or helmets, or skins, emblems.
I'll tell you in personal experience again in BDO, there was this thing called a ghillie suit that you could buy off the shop. A desert ghillie suit and a forest ghillie suit, and those ones for PvP were great, and then they had to nerf them, and even then it was still really good for like blending in and being harder to see when you're approaching someone from a certain angle. If you were like in the desert wearing the desert ghillie suit, or if you were in the forest and you were wearing a forest ghillie suit, it hides your like nameplate or whatever. So when someone like walks up to you, they won't be able to tell until they hit you if they're paying attention. It's so fucking stupid.
Whatever it is, these were all part of in-game progression and in-game achievements. So if instead players can just buy camos, skins, emblems, icons, and even entire armor sets, why bother with the progression systems?
It doesn't affect you.
Really? When the game is designed around earning cosmetics, then having a cash shop sell cosmetics absolutely affects me and the game experience as a whole for everyone. We've seen games like Destiny 2 not even get one earnable armor set in over a year for the core playlist. But
what? Not even one? That's actually crazy, dude. Also, the fallacy becomes then that when you put an armor set into, like, for example, in WoW, you had transmog that was really cool and earnable, and then they stopped putting in as much effort and it was uglier than things that they put into the cash shop for transmog. So why wouldn't you just spend the money? Like, just spend like $5, get like a really nice skin, than spending like hours and hours of time to get something that looks mediocre or less like pretty. If it doesn't affect you, then why spend money? True.
Loads of cash shop sets are added no problem, and Bungie's recent State of the Game blog post cites a lack of resources to make one new armor set to earn.
What? But you have all the resources to make money armor sets?
How so? Just take the resources from at least one of those cash shop sets
and
apply it to the actual fucking game. Saying this shit doesn't affect me or the game is an asinine thing to say. I think of a game like Sea of Thieves, where the point of the game is to earn gold to buy really expensive cosmetics. But why grind for gold if you can just buy better looking cosmetics at the cash shop and the battle pass? I'm sure you have similar examples with games you've played or are actively still playing, and it eventually gets deflating to think about the fact that monetization has become the sole focus of so many of our favorite games. But these cash shops and monetization systems only exist and continue to thrive because of wallet
people gamers. Are buying
so as much as we can villainize the corporations and greedy upper level managers for modern monetization practices, it's players, or should I say payers, like this that really has led to the downfall of gaming. And even though the whales are a small percentage of users, they're responsible for more than—
Wait, why it's scary when 0.15% of mobile gamers bring in 50% of the revenue? That's actually fucking terrifying. Holy shit. 0.1, not 1%, a fraction of a percent. That's fucking insane. I've seen a new D4 skin every 2 days. Yeah, and the normal armor skins in D4 look like trash 99% of the time.
50% of the revenue, even up to 70% in some games. Now this is a terrible problem because this leads to many more studios to design their games, again, specifically for this audience. Keep games running on just enough life support to stay afloat, but dump all the majority of resources into monetization. It's a vicious cycle where eventually these studios and whales will begin to destroy each other, if they haven't already. And as more time goes on, I've stayed further and further away from live service gaming in general, because wallet gamers, just like gambling addicts and collectors, can't help themselves. They are the epitome of impulse buying and always fall for FOMO. And just because they have the money, they spend it, casually destroying the industry, blinded by their compulsion to spend. Truly pathetic.
Activision Blizzard reports highest microtransaction revenue ever! Yay! 0.15% is also coincidentally the chance you have it being wrongfully timed out. Choco, shut the fuck up. That's me, impulse buyer. Atomics, no! Don't cave in.
Pathetic behavior. Now I want to shift this video into a more positive direction and highlight some examples of games made for gamers, not for wallet gamers. And the first is a recent title, Baldur's Gate 3.
Yay!
Let's go ahead and read this here, okay? Are there any, this is a question that was sent to the developers, Larian Studios of Baldur's Gate 3, asking about in-game purchases.
This is when they said
Are there any
no,
in-game purchases in
Giga Chad.
PlayStation 3? They respond. They say this. No. All right. No. Great. No, there will be no
Good.
in-game purchases in our game. We believe in providing a complete and immersive gaming experience without the need for additional purchases. Enjoy the game to its
Based
fullest
and
without
red-pilled.
any additional costs or microtransactions.
Mm-hmm.
I think, guys, we don't get a lot of those nowadays, you know? It's been a
Winners!
while since we've been able to hear this, and it's
Choco, get in here. Give him the Belgian treatment. Larian Studios is Belgian. Chad Belgian company says no microtransactions here.
it's nice to hear it again. And we had the same thing with Elden Ring, and every once in a while
Belgian
games come
brain.
out, and they're able to actually be for gamers first. And I understand that this has got a lot of people on Twitter upset, especially people that work at other gaming studios, because they're afraid of being held to the same standard.
Baldur's Gate 3 is a complete package, a game created by individuals
Feature
and companies that
complete.
stands by their conviction that microtransactions do not belong in video games. It's no surprise to see it reach over 500,000 players on Steam this past weekend. Now this game is also an interesting case because just like with the release of Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate's release has AAA developers having full-blown meltdowns on Twitter saying that the game is an anomaly.
Not gonna lie, I've heard a lot of good stuff about Baldur's Gate. I might get it if it's on console. It's coming out soon. It came out on PC first. It should be coming out in a week or two, I think. Console is early September. Yeah. Okay, so it is coming out in this, like, I don't even think I'm a fan of the genre. You might like it. It's pretty slow-paced at first, and then it gets more complicated. September 3rd. Okay! Kenzie, you should totally get it. And if you don't like it, remember you can refund it. Pretty sure, right? I would hope. At least on Steam you can.
And not the new industry standard. Basically lots of empty words and making excuses for why their billion-dollar corporation that they work for can't reach the same levels of Baldur's Gate 3. That it's foolish to believe that this is the new standard, when in truth, these developers are just upset that Larian Studios has upstaged them in every single way. Again, just like when Elden Ring released. And all I'm gonna say is that a studio like this, that values over-delivery and encourages it, trying their best to satisfy their customers
The ogre sex
and
scene,
reject
no.
modern monetization practices, should absolutely be supported. So after I finish this video, I'm going to immediately go purchase and begin playing the game. Grim Dawn is an ARPG released back in 2016, which was brought to my attention in one of my comments a while back, specifically when I was voicing my hesitancy to pick up Diablo 4, and thankfully, I did not buy Diablo 4 and instead took the advice of that comment and picked up Grim Dawn for $6. And
Grim
wow,
Dawn.
a feature-complete, lengthy, and content-rich ARPG experience without a single battle pass or cash shop. And in that time, they've released several
Grim
expansions for the game,
Dawn.
and several more free content updates since then, including a new fairly large update set to launch in just a few months.
Cool.
So if you were disappointed or fell out of favor with Diablo 4, I highly recommend picking this one up. Tunic is a fantastic little game that surprised me more than
Grim
I thought,
Dawn.
and while I haven't finished the game myself, I did watch my wife play through the game at various points, and even helped her clear a couple bosses. And this game absolutely blew away my expectations. I'd always heard it was a good game, but Tunic is truly one of the best games ever made. It's on Game Pass, so please, just go play this one. I spoke about BattleBit in a recent video, which I recommend checking out if you missed it, but I wanted to bring it up one more time because of what a current DICE producer recently said in regards to Battlefield 2042. Obviously, Battlefield and BattleBit are very similar games, and the community has been memeing on DICE and EA that BattleBit is somehow a better Battlefield game than 2042 is, and DICE producer Ryan MacArthur's response was, "Players didn't understand how the specialists were supposed to work. And if you don't understand how something is supposed to work,
How dare you?
of
I'm
course
kidding,
you believe
I'm
that
kidding.
the old way was better." Yeah. Or maybe, Ryan, you don't remove classes from a fucking Battlefield game, you doorknob. You guys weren't
You
so ahead of the
doorknob.
curve and clever with your generic specialist system, okay? Your players just aren't stupid. They saw that you changed the game to actively reject the identity of the franchise in which it belongs. So again, I'm here to reiterate, if you want a proper new Battlefield experience, go play BattleBit.
BattleBit.
And I've said it before, and I'll always say it, go play a Souls game.
I have heard people complain about it being, about it having a lot of hackers in it. Battle booty.
I recommend Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne to start out with. Those two are my personal favorites, but just pick whichever From Software game sounds the most interesting to you and dive in. There are no games that give more high quality content and feel more rewarding than From Software titles. Also, check out some more indie titles. There are so many good indies out there.
Yeah,
2023
Undertale.
in particular has been a fantastic year for indies. Here's a few more recommendations. Check out my last video for some more recommendations. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Dredge. I heard Dredge is good.
History repeats itself. Overwatch was something.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's just blasting into the next video. Holy crap. I put in a number of hours in it and personally I've never encountered a hacker. A few of my friends were complaining about it, but maybe it was just like one freak kind of like incident with them. Terraria is really good. I played it for a while, a couple years ago. Stray is my favorite game of the last couple years. Yeah, I love Stray, but it was very short and like wholesome. Like I wouldn't say it's like insane replayability. Problem with BattleBit is nobody talks in that game anymore. Why not? Yeah, Terraria is definitely worth the money. It like you can replay that game like hundreds and hundreds of times.
If you
Payday 3 and DD2 on console. Wait, wasn't Payday 2 kind of a disaster? I don't remember. Maybe I'm mixing up games. Bought Terraria and found out that kind of game bores me to death. Oh, that's totally fine. If it's like not your cup of tea, but Terraria as a game itself is like really fun. I played it myself.